Hey everybody, it's Steve with Sky194, and I hope you're having a great day. And just gonna start a stream trying to work on seeing what car I want to go with this next season. The new season starts this next week. Now, don't forget, tomorrow we have the 2-hour endurance race at Mount Panorama, and I am in the Mustang for that one. So that'll be my first race with the new Mustang GT3. So hopefully we can do good there. But I have a couple cars that, I tried to pick a couple different cars and a couple ones that I'm more used to. So I'm trying to split between the difference to see which ones I like. The first one is the Porsche. So, I mean, that's one of the cars that I've always considered. I know I did it a couple seasons ago, but definitely a car that I still enjoy. I really enjoy driving. So that's one car. The second car is the Ferrari. Considering that car also, as I have not raced that in a few seasons. And I think when I was doing it, when I was driving with the Ferrari, I was setting a lot of good personal bests. So I know it's a very capable car. So again, trying to consider that also as a car that I usually, I have used it in a season. So but it just hasn't been real recent. Another car that I am leaning towards is the Aston Martin. Again, a car that I have not raced in a season at all. So again, of course, that's my new livery, my updated livery. Did some changes on it. And of course, the last car would be the Mustang. And again, that's my updated livery for that. So again, that is the car that I will be using tomorrow in the 2-hour endurance race at Mount Panorama. And of course, thanks to Nico's, he just finished that this week. Basically, I know it looks pretty much the same, but we changed a lot of things on it. Basically took the American flag and put that on the hood. Put the Assetto Sim Sports all over it, the Alienware on it. He's just changed a lot of things on it. And then on here, on the roof, I put a Mustang and put Born and Bred in the USA on it. So I think it looks really good. Just changed a lot of little things on it. But I mean, the same color scheme, same livery, but it just changed a lot of things on the livery. Put a ACC sticker on the front. So again, I really like the looks of it. And again, that's a car that I will consider also. So again, really those cars are really the top cars that I'm considering. And again, the Ferrari and the Porsche I have used in a season before, but I still really enjoy driving them, and I think I could do better, right out the gate with them. But then also I like, the Mustang, something different, something I haven't used, and of course the Aston Martin, which has been around a while, but I've just never used it in a season. So again, another good car, another car that I enjoyed, I enjoy driving. But I got to find something that's competitive. I mean, it's got to be somewhere in the middle there somewhere. Maybe it doesn't have to be the very best, but it's got to be good because, I mean, with everybody in e-seniors, I can't just be giving away time. So it's got to be still decent. Not maybe pretty much everywhere. It doesn't have to be the fastest everywhere, but it's got to be pretty up there. So what I figured, is, of course, we know what I know some of the tracks that we're going to be racing at this season. So let's go off of the Mustang first. And basically, the first tracks are Coda and Indianapolis, and then I think it's Brands Hatch. So again, some shorter tracks, not super fast. So again, I'm just gonna probably spend like not a lot of time on each car and just try to see what I think of each one. Now you look at this, and I've already got a roughed-in setup for them at each one of these tracks. Have run a 136.8 at Indianapolis, but Coda, that's the first race, so that's why I want to go off of that. I ran a 206.58, which I don't think is too bad for me. That's right in the ballpark there of running, decent times for not really running the car or really getting the setup optimized and practicing with it. And, maybe I can do a little bit better than that. But so, you just got to see what the goods and the bads at each track are. So at least that's how I do it. And really just how it clicks, how I really like driving the car at different tracks, whether it's Circuit America, Indianapolis, Brands Hatch, those kinds of places. Now, I mean, obviously the Mustang really accelerates at faster tracks. So again, this is kind of a challenge because this is not a faster track. All these tracks are really on the slower side. A lot of them are greasy too. So that's another thing. I want to see how it works. Coda isn't that way, but Indianapolis, another track that we're racing at, is Hungaroring. That's not a lot of grip there. So again, I want to see how it does at some of the tracks that doesn't have a lot of grip. And of course, the Porsche is usually some of my faster cars at all these tracks. So again, that's another thing I like. So again, we'll just do again, probably spend, I don't know how much time. I really don't want to spend more than like 10, 15 minutes at each track, with each car and something like that. And then move on from there. Again, it's just something that I want to see what I can do and how it feels. And if it doesn't really work at that track compared to another car. But I really, your input would be greatly appreciated. What y'all would like to see and I was considering the BMW. That was kind of another car that I was really considering. And the AMG, both of those two cars. But, I've run a lot of them. I run the BMW in a season. I've run the AMG so many times. And it's just, I'm trying to do something different, for the interest of the channel. And also, just trying to see if I can, get more setups. That's why I kind of like the Mustang and the Aston Martin, because, kind of get the setups updated for that car. Of course, with the Mustang, I'm just still working on new setups for it. First, these are going to be in my temperatures, usually around 22 degrees. Obviously, we don't know what the track conditions or the track, if it's going to be soaring heat or what. But this is, again, just to get an idea of what I think the car works really good. And the Mustang's definitely the most different. This car is, it doesn't really, trail braking is limited. It basically has a little bit harder on the front tires as far as getting them hot. It tends to want to understeer more. So there's a lot of things you got to really consider with this car. But it seems like it's a very stable car. So I think you can be pretty consistent with it. And since all these races are nothing really long, I mean, usually you got 25 minutes and you got to do a pit stop. You might fall off a little bit at the end, but I don't think it's the end of the world type fall off. You can see, like I said, these are basic. I can also see the TC usually seems like around 5, maybe 4 if you can get lucky, but 5 most of the time, because anything other than that, the car just wants to get too oversteery on throttle. TC2, of course, it looks like it's 0 everywhere because it just seems like it kind of hinders the car. Kind of like the Aston Martin is the same way. Aston Martin, you don't have the TC that high. You have it a lot lower than the Mustang, but also TC2, it seems like you always have it at 0. I mean, maybe 1, but you usually set it back to 0. It looks like you got to push the weight forward. So another thing you might learn on this video is how you can adjust things, and we can go over some of those things. And this can work with a lot of different cars. So this is something that it's kind of a twofold. It's kind of me trying to find a new car, but also maybe how you can adjust your car to your liking, what to adjust what with. And so again, if you have specific questions about stuff, this is the good time during the stream to ask that. And I can help out with, if you're trying to get the car to do a certain thing, what do you do to get it? What do you adjust? What would you, and we can go over a lot of these things with different cars. Some of these things work with every car. Some things you don't want to do with that car. It's just, a lot of it is just depending upon the track and the car combination. But a lot of things are in general and work, just physics, just work on every car that way. But again, a lot of times you're not going to do that to that car. Like this, okay? The springs on the rear are higher than the springs on the front. Now, what does that do? What is the purpose of that? The purpose of that is to push weight forward onto the car. So again, why am I trying to do that? Well, I'm trying to do that because the Mustang wants to understeer. Okay? So this is what just going down and taking these and going all the way down just doesn't work, because if you look, that spring rate is higher than this spring rate. So that would just going the weakest out of all of them really is not the answer. Just going maximum or minimum on everything. You're right here. I'm wanting to help the car to transfer the weight towards the front. So I'm doing that by running a softer spring on the front than the rear. And that will help the car turn in a lot of corners, especially the sharper corners like you have here at Coda. Now, obviously, like the Porsche, you wouldn't be doing this. Or a car that, Lamborghini, you wouldn't be doing this. So there's certain cars that you would never do this on. The Porsche is one of them. You'd never be running. You would be doing this on the Porsche. I'm sorry. I mean, like the Lamborghini, you wouldn't be doing this. The Porsche, you would be running stiffer on the rear than the front. I'm sorry, but I'm talking about other cars that you wouldn't, and that'd be like the Lamborghini, the Ferrari. There's certain cars you wouldn't be doing that on, and there's certain cars you would. Now, like the Audi Evo 2, that's kind of a 50-50. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But it does work the same on every car. You're always running, if you're running a stiffer spring on the back than the front, it's pushing the weight towards the front of the car, and that helps the car to rotate. Okay, so that's why you're doing it. And again, every time you change these springs and change different things, your shocks might be a little bit different. So that's why you always got to go back and check that and make sure that's okay. And also the same with the sway bars. You might have to adjust the sway bars accordingly. If you're running a lot softer or stiffer spring, you might have to run a lot softer or a lot more sway bar. So again, all these kind of coincide with each other. It's the combination of everything. So let's make a few laps and see what this does. And again, we can talk about setups and what we can try to do. And again, if you have any questions of what you want to adjust or what to adjust, just ask those questions and we can see if we can get it to figure it out. Again, the Mustang is so unique, but it's, again, just like anything else, the more you drive it, the more you get used to it. The one thing I kind of like about it is you don't have to shift as much as like a Porsche or a Huracan. The gears, seem longer, and you carry a lot different gear than you do in some other cars. So again, it's good and bad, but I kind of like it. Because, usually, if you mess up a shift and that messes up your lap, well, if you don't have as many shifts to do, then that's less likely chance of messing up a lap. Another good thing about the Mustang is it really is really good on the brakes. Really good on the brakes. So I would definitely put it right near the top of the field as far as being on the brakes. And that's a good combination to have a car that's good on the straightaway and very good on the brakes. That's a really good combination, because what would bad if you weren't good on the brakes, then you would have to, brake really early, even though you got good speed. So you don't have to do that with the Mustang. You got to drive it like a naturally aspirated car that it is. I mean, it does not like, I don't think the torque is really as good as like a turbo car, like a Ferrari, like a BMW. So you got to keep it wound up as much as possible. And this is the only car I go through here like this in first. It just does not like it if you're bogging it out in second. Another good thing is if you like to rotate the car with the pedal, there's certain cars that are better than others. This is one of the best as far as this car will definitely rotate with the gas pedal. Where others aren't so much that way, but this one it actually will over rotate. So not a bad time. I mean, nothing great, but I mean, it's okay. Ah. I need to make a little bit of adjustment to the tires. Unfortunately, it just, some of the gearing on this car is just kind of catches you, you know, as odd. But it's just something that, you know, it's just something that you got to get used to. Let's make a couple adjustments and then just go out for one more time. You know, it doesn't feel bad. It looks like it needs just a little bit more pressure. Yeah, it just needs a little bit more pressure, you know, and make sure the pressures are where they need to be. I try to run them a little lower here because, you know, trying to get a little bit more grip. Leave this the same. Obviously, just did a few laps, so you really don't see too much. You can't get too much into the wear. And again, this isn't getting it finalized. This is just trying to get it roughed in, and then, you know, obviously, if I pick the car and then before the race, I would do some more dialing in, trying to be a little bit more particular on each little thing. Again, like I explained about the springs, again, I'm trying to get the car to rotate on the front end because the Mustang does like to understeer. And especially with these sharp corners, you need it to rotate pretty fast. And of course, another thing is when you run the bump stop rate higher on the rear than you do the front, it does the same thing. So again, when you run a bump stop rate, especially the bigger the difference, the more it's going to rotate. So again, that's another way to get the car to rotate, especially around mid-corner. Not maybe corner entry, but corner, about mid-corner off. The car will rotate faster if you run more bump stop rate on the rear than the front. You know, preload's not too bad. It's in the ballpark. Everything else seems pretty good. I know the shocks are pretty good. Aero, again, the Mustang, you're probably always going to run it maybe either all the way down or really close to it. Again, trying to get as much grip on the front as you can. And again, you're going to probably run the rear wing mostly maxed out, at least at these shorter tracks. You could maybe try, you know, to go up one more click. But you know, you gotta be careful not to get oversteer. So we'll try maybe one more click, because here are those sharp corners. You need the car again. You really need it to react and turn, because you know before you go on that long straightaway, the car is almost coming back on itself. So I mean, you really got to turn sharp and be able to get on the gas as soon as possible. Other than that, there we go. Everything else looks pretty good. Again, not dialed in, but I mean, it's close. So let's go out one more time. Do a few laps. Another thing, I like the way it sounds. That's not a big important thing, but it's a plus. I don't mind the sound. It's okay. There's other cars that I think I like better, but it doesn't sound bad. So, not to me, it doesn't. It sounds okay. And again, that's subjective. Everybody has their own personal choice with things like that. Obviously, I really don't want to race, you know, every week with something that I can't stand to listen to. So, but that's really not too many cars, to be honest. But here's a little odd. You can either keep it in that gear or go down a gear. And then here going first, which, like I said, I don't think I do that in any other car. But it's got such a long first gear. and it just doesn't have a lot of bottom end compared to other cars. That's why it's not the best coming off the corner. That's probably its Achilles heel. Its weak point is coming off the corner. Again, hello to everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day. I hope you join me for the race tomorrow. Endurance race at Mount Panorama. And it will be in this car here. One thing that's nice, you only have one downshift like that. So usually I'm in third in other cars, and now I was only in second. So you only have to downshift one shift instead of messing up and not being able to get into first. So again, that's kind of a plus sometimes. Really don't use 6th gear hardly at all in this car. A little bit here and there. We'll see at Mount Panorama. So easy to be out of bounds. That's what's so difficult here. It definitely rotates if you get too aggressive with the gas. Get the tires up to pressure. Let's turn the brakes down. See what we can do here. Hey, Frank. Next lap, we'll turn it down to 4 and see if that does anything different also. And that'll hopefully be it with this. there's the new personal best for the Mustang. Let's do one lap with number 4. That'd be too much, but let's try it and find out. A little harder to control. That's the problem with it. I think it's, you know, it's going to take some mastering to get that dialed in if I want to use TC4, because it's going to make the car really hard to control. Especially on these tight turns. Yeah, see, he wants to jump. Lost some time at that last corner, but I mean, I think if you can, if you can do a setup to tune it into that, it might be beneficial. So something, it's going to take time to find a balance. If I could use TC4. And again, that's another thing on the setup. Sometimes you have to set it up for maybe this narrow range so the car reacts the way you want it to, as far as when you get on the throttle. You know, do you get on the throttle early? Do you get on the throttle late? You know, because that's going to make the car react differently. So if you get on the throttle certain times, you might have to run a TC at a certain setting, and or, you know, can you feed in the gas, or you just stomp on it? So again, there's a lot of different things to go by. All right, good deal, Frank. Again, you know, hopefully a lot of things here. Hopefully I can help some people out with, in general, as far as adjusting things. Because some tracks you need the car to rotate faster, and some tracks you don't want it to rotate faster. So again, there's going to be things that you're going to do at this track for this particular thing, but at another track you need to slow it down because it's rotating too fast, and it gives you oversteer. So again, it's, you know, and that's a per car basis. And or this car has natural, let's say the Porsche, or certain cars have you know, a lot more rotation in them. You have to slow that rotation down. You don't want to speed it up. So again, it's just all in. It's all those things that the more you drive that car, the more you figure out what it's doing, and then what to adjust to get it to handle better. That's what you're trying to accomplish. Again, electronics, fuel. Again, that time, we just did a few laps, but you can see the tire wear is really good. And Mustang, that's one of the pluses. It's, again, I like the tire wear. Even with a lot of brake bias, the rears are just wearing a little bit more than the fronts. That's really good. So I think that's an actual plus for the Mustang. You can probably run a little bit more as far as brake bias. I just have it set a little bit on the balance side, but then I can get more aggressive once I get the tires up to up to pressures. And the pressures, they don't look too bad. They look pretty close. Could be down just a teeny bit, but it's not that bad. They're in the range. Time wise, I think it did a little better with the ride height that way, but again, I'd have to test it on a longer run to see, and also the same with the TC. It probably really TC wise, so far I'm learning that TC5 is just just seems to work almost everywhere. And TC4 is something that I would like to get it to work better there because it makes it accelerate faster, and that's its weak point. But on the flip side, it just seems like it's I don't have the right balance for that yet. So right now TC5 is okay. So again, I really give this car I really like this so far. It feels pretty good. Let's watch just the one lap. Again, I like to look at the attitude of the car. One thing I noticed with the Mustang, the rear end likes to squat. And so I'm trying to figure out if, that's something that is good or bad, or as far as the handling, it just seems like it wants to squat on some of the real fast turns. But it seems pretty, the front end seems pretty solid through. Just like you saw there, the switchbacks going back and forth, it seemed pretty good through there. Didn't over rotate either direction. Now, of course, when we go check it at like Indianapolis, that's more of a slick track. So we got to really, you might have to do some other adjustments there. This isn't a slick track. I think code is pretty grippy. Exactly, and that's the difference. ACC is, one change, 165, that's good speed down the straightaway. One change can make a big difference in time and drivability. So again, that's why it's so critical to know what adjusts what. What does, when you're adjusting something, what are you trying to accomplish? In the feel of the car, in the attitude of the car. And sometimes people are adjusting the wrong things. And that's why I'm not a believer in the softer is better thing. I'm not saying that it's not good to run softer springs, but the softest all the time is not always the answer. So, but I'm really happy with the car here. I think it did really good. We ran a 206.33, but to say it can definitely, I see a 205 in it. If you had more practice and dialing this in some more, I definitely can see a 205, a high 205 in it. Probably, if you could run around high 205s, low 206s on a race pace, I think I would be pretty decent. Oh, exactly. Obviously not wrecking, keeping on the track is definitely a #1 priority. But sometimes in the heat of battle, and that's where drivability is a lot more important, I think, than people give it creed for, because if the car isn't drivable, everybody gets jacked up for a race. I'm the same way. I get jacked up for a race. Everybody gets jacked up. You want to go 11 tenths. Absolutely, you got the rabbit in front of you, whoever that is, you're trying to pass or trying to keep up, and you can overcook it. You can overdo this. You can overdo that. If you have a car that's on the ragged edge, most likely you're going to wreck. You're going to lose it. If you're practicing and the car's on the absolute, where you can't be too consistent, you can't hardly finish laps, you can't, you're on the ragged edge with the setup of the car. Most likely, you get into a race with all the adrenaline and everything jacked up. You're going to wreck into somebody. You're going to lose it. You're going to lose control of the car. You're going to do something. I mean, so you need a car that really has the drivability in the car. So if maybe you go in that one corner a little faster than you normally have, you're not going to lose it. You're not going to crash. The car is going to be able to handle that. So again, because you can always, I am the same way in a race. I usually go a little faster than when I'm practicing. That's usually because you got all the adrenaline built up. You have the person in front of you you're chasing, or you're being chased. It's all those things that go with that. And I was that way in real life too, always. And when I raced for real, it was that way. So, and it's just that way the same here. So again, happy with that. Yeah, see, I beat it by 2.5 tenths, and that was just playing around a little bit. And I think there's more time in it. So again, very happy with that. So let's go to Indianapolis. So this is like the second race of the season. 136.8 is what I've just messing around. Again, not a track I've spent a lot of time here. This is one of those tracks where it's not bad, but it's not one of my favorites, to be honest, just because of the way that first sector is and the layout. I don't like it. I wish they would change that, but that's not going to happen. It would make the track way more fun. But again, we just got to deal with it. So let's go and look at the setup. Again, it's going to have some same resemblances, but you can see, the negative cambers are a little bit different. Again, it's still just roughed in. I'm not, it's not a dialed in setup. It's just something that's been roughed in. Same kind of settings here. A little bit less bar, I think. And again, a little less bar because you're wanting the car to get into the track. Its place is slick. It doesn't have a lot of grip. And I'm trying to get the car to rotate on each corner so it gets some grip. Again, the same kind of thing. A little softer on the bump stop rates, but they're still the same way. Still higher in the rear than the front. And again, that's to help the car rotate from the center off of the corner. A little bit less preload because you have a lot of changing directions. So a little bit less preload on the diff. Shocks. Now you can see this is a lot different. I mean, we actually have some numbers up here on the bump and the fast bump again. So that's just what I'm going off of. So again, I'm not saying that's what'll hold true, but that's way it is roughed in. Aero about the exact same. It's exactly the same as it was at Coda. So that's very similar. That makes it kind of nice because you can dial in a basic balance of the car pretty quickly if it stays that way. Same kind of brake bias. So there's some things that are pretty standard. And then other things is what you really got to concentrate in, dialing in the shocks, springs, which again, springs, I might want to go down one click all the way around to get more bite into the, so that's something, again, this is just very roughed in, kind of a base type setting, and you just keep working on it from here. Because some of these slicker tracks, you do have to go with softer springs to try to get the car to get some grip. So again, we'll try this. And again, this is tracks that I don't race at a ton, but I need to practice and I need to get something set up because it's something that's going to be coming, the second race of the season. And obviously, I'm not sure saying I'm taking the Mustang because that's why there's some cars that I'm looking at, but I need to be prepared for whichever. Another long pit road. And again, some tight turns, but not as tight as Coda. But you got some tight turns here. course, it's kind of a bumpy place too. This is where it gets, to me, the slickest part of the track is. Right, this through here. And it's kind of just this flip back and forth, bad curbs. Come up here near the 100. But again, you can brake really very late with the Mustang. So that's a definite plus. Doesn't feel terrible. I mean, it feels pretty well balanced. You get it to rotate just by the throttle. Deep. I'm 36.7. That's not too bad. Little oversteery, mainly because it's just the throttle. A little wide. Understeering. So you got some understeer, oversteer things going on. Make a few adjustments to see if it helps at all. It feels a little unstable. So again, checking the pressures aren't too bad. Little on the high side. Again, I really rather run a little low here. let's look at the tires, see what they're doing. So you got a pretty even here. Look how even it is. So I mean, again, you need to run maximum negative camber. Here you got a teeny bit of a spread, but it's not bad. So again, I got it a little less on this side than the left, because the left really gets, you can see the pressure difference. I mean, look how much pressure difference from left to right. And that's because all the fast turns are going to the right. So again, major pressure differences because of that. So yeah, you need a little bit less negative camber on the right rear just to get more grip on that right rear tire. But other than that, I mean, you could try to go a little bit, max out the left rear, because that's where it's all these fast turns are. Everything else here, let's try one more sway bar and go down one click on all these springs and see if that helps at all. And try to adjust with the sway bars as far as the stiffness of the car, but also lighten the springs up to try to get the car to get some grip and some of these turns, to dig into the track a little bit more. Aero, I think it's pretty good here. I mean, we could try, go max on the negative toe. You could try that, and then go down a couple on the ride height. You could try that. So again, because that really affects the turn in part. I mean, the negative toe all affects turn in. How fast you want the car to react and turn in. Okay? So you gotta be careful though, because you can grain tires with too much negative toe. So again, you gotta be careful that you can try it and to get your liking. But if you start graining tires really fast, it's some of that could be because you have too much negative toe. If in ride height, if you have, the higher ride height is again for turn in, really it's not for mid corner or coming off the corner. It's mainly for turn in and changing directions. Okay, like chicanes or things like that. The more you have the ride height jacked up in the rear, it's going to make the car turn in faster. It's going to make the car change directions faster. So again, with me though, with this car, as you saw, like the turn 1-2 section, the car is a little nervous. The car is not real. I can't get aggressive on the gas because the car's wanting to oversteer. So again, I'm going to take some of that out, especially since I added the negative toe in. So again, it's something to try. Again, there's a lot of combinations to try with this to see, and that's something I would have to do if I chose the Mustang. But this is just, again, to get it, try to find a happy medium, somewhere a base to start from. Again, this is kind of a slicker track, so you're trying to find the car to get some grip. We adjusted some pressures, made a few adjustments. So let's go back out again, just do a few laps. And see if it does anything different. See if it reacts the way I'm hoping or it doesn't. Again, a click here, a change here makes a big difference. I like to have it to where I can use the throttle to make the car rotate. It really, if you can get it to work, it is faster that way. But also, it's hard to do that sometimes. Sometimes you just can't find that balance. Especially on a car like this that has a lot of power, and it just, no matter what you do, if you try to run a lower TC, it ends up overtaxing the rear tires. Initially it feels like it's got a little bit better grip. Let's see what it does and get some pressure in the tires. Still left front, you can see it getting a little warm. Too deep. Definitely need to practice more at this place. Doesn't feel near as oversteery as it did. Let's try going down to 4, see what that does. Ow. That's better. Good improvement over. I could have done a lot better than that. I would have flubbed up that last. But see, that's where I'm talking about. It's so easy to oversteer then when you go down to 4. So again, it's closer, but the balance is just a little bit off. And it could be, you know, just taking this maybe back out. Maybe taking the toe back out so it does not have so much turn in. Just slow that down a little bit. You know, maybe even just take a teeny bit more out of that, out of the toe, out of the rear. And again, so it does, the back end doesn't rotate so fast. But you look at the tires. And again, these are maxed out, so you can't get any more negative toe or negative camber on the front here. So they're okay. This is pretty good here, and this is still pretty good here. You actually could, you know, maybe a teeny bit different, but it's fine. It's close. Again, this isn't bad. I think this feels a little better, and there's more time in it. I think again, softening the springs probably is a good thing because it just helps that car rotate. Again, you might have to do some more. I might have to do some more bump stop rate adjustments and ranges to dial it in. It might be again rotating a little bit too fast, but it's not far from it. It's close. I think it's got a low 36 in it. I could, you know, maybe even get into 35s, and you know, and I'm talking. Obviously, qualifying, I probably should be able to get 35s without a doubt. But I'm talking race pace. I'm hoping I could maybe get into 35s. So that would be a really good time for me. Let's watch this last. And 67, good speed. That was really good speed. I like to see the car moving a little bit when I'm looking at this, and that's the reason. I want to see if it's moving. I mean, I want to see a little bit of movement, you know, on each corner. Is the car pitching? Is it moving a little bit? Because I don't want it so stiff that it's like a go-kart. I mean, it's got to have some movement to be able to transfer weight in different areas. So is it dropping when I'm on the brakes? Is it moving in the corner? And you can see it moving. You can see it moving a little bit, and that's what I like. You can see the car pitching in the corners. I'm not seeing any, you know, where it's bottoming out anywhere. See, that's where I messed up. I just totally messed that up. I got on the gas and it just jumped on me. So again, that's where I lost probably a tenth or two right there. So, still mid 36 isn't terrible. Definitely more room for improvement. Hey John, how you doing? And you see, that's almost 3/10 faster than than what I ran before. I ran a 136.8, and I just ran a 136.5, and I even blew the last set of corners, which would have been faster than that. So again, you know, the time keeps coming down, so that's a good thing. Again, it's just because you're dialing the car in more. you drive it more, all those things, it starts adding up. You know, to get the car to be able to put the power down, to be able to handle the way you want it to handle. And, you know, my fastest time is a 136.1. That is my personal best. And that's old because that's from the old Porsche. So that's, you know, again, I ran a 136.5 there. That's not bad. Not for, you know, that mess ups. And I could easily hit my all-time personal best with the Mustang. Without a doubt. So that's really good. So I'm happy with that. What other, before we switch, what other tracks did we, here we go at? Any suggestions? Got either the other two would be either Brands Hatch or Hungaroring. I mean, Brands Hatch, you see, is a 123.42 is my all-time fastest, which I ran here a high 24 when I was just roughing stuff in. So again, a little bit off my personal best, so definitely more room for improvement at Brands Hatch. And of course, Hungaroring, I haven't even been there. That's an old personal best with the old Porsche, high 43. So again, you know, I haven't been at Hungaroring in so long. Definitely long time since I've been at that place. Again, that's a slick track. I don't think Brands Hatch is slick, to be honest. I don't think it's slick. I think it's more in the middle. It's either, you know, it's middle to grippy. It's not really slick, unless you go off in the grass. But Hungaroring is just a greasy place. I mean, that place is just does not have a lot of grip. So let's try it over there. And what we'll do. See, I don't have any setup, so what we'll do is we'll basically put on, which I could have just switched it, but I'll just do it this way. But basically, basically similar to what we had at Indianapolis, because they're both of these tracks are pretty similar as far as grip levels. Good. Let's leave that there. That there. Of course, this is just a guess here. It's just to get it somewhere close to what I had it at the other place. Of course, I'm just going to max out that. Put that there. Again, like I said, the higher you have the ride height, the faster it's going to turn in and the faster it's going to change directions. Yeah, I got that the way I want it. Tire pressures, I got no clue, so we'll just have to go out for a couple laps and see what kind of pressures we got. First time I've had the Mustang here. The first time I've been here in a long time. So I'm about to see what kind of gear. But gear-wise, it likes. Done a lot of races here in the CP server. CP server used to love coming to this place. Had a lot of good races here, though. Then this is where the change in direction thing is. Too bad. High curbs here, so again, I might have to change ride height. It's just lazy. That's the only thing I could call it. Come off the corners, the Mustang is lazy. A lot different than the Ferrari and stuff like that. That car, I mean, that car's got torque and it just, you know, the way it is. What car would you like to see? Again, input would be greatly appreciated. Right, first, second feel kind of slow. I used to love this corner right here. Certain cars, it just feels really good. Definitely in between gears here. Definitely not super fast. Does not like changing directions. better. Need to check the tires. This needs to come down. Go. Look at the tires and see what they look like. Yeah, see there. I got maximum negative camber, and they're so that's not bad. This isn't real bad. Could be a little less, maybe to get a little grip. Try that. Take the sway bar out. You check Motec, see what the shocks, get them in a ballpark. All right. See what we got. It needs to come down. Not too bad. Just switch these. These need to come down. That needs to go down. That needs to come up. That should be close. All right, that should be close. That car still doesn't want to change directions really good. Let's do this. Let's max out the negative toe, see if we can help that out a little bit. And try that. Just watch a lap. Let's see what it looks like going over the bumps. And then really good speed. 156 or something like that. That's really good speed. Goes over the bumps really good for how low the car is. This is where it's not doing as good as I hoped to here. And it just goes over the bump like it's nothing. but it's just I needed to change directions quicker. A lot of inputs. That's another thing. I think you got to really drive this car. It's got so much power. So let's try that and see if that helped at all. I hope you join me in my stream tomorrow, or of course eSeniors is having a stream also for the Mount Panorama race. I'm racing this car, the Mustang. I think it's running really good. I got to do some more fine tuning, but I'm gonna wait to do that probably tomorrow morning, because I want to just get my motor skills and all that kind of stuff more used to it, and I don't want to. That way when I get in the race, I'm tuned too. So basically I'm gonna probably do that in the morning tomorrow or before the race a little bit, because it's there. I just want to just fine tune it and maybe do some longer runs to see what it feels like near the end of a stint. That's all. Make sure the car doesn't fall on its face or become undrivable. Got some stiff competition. Chris Moses is back. He's racing in that race tomorrow in a Mustang. So it's going to be some stiff competition with that, and there's other guys are in it too. See Chris Bourne's in it in the McLaren. Again, this car is just so different with the gearing of it. Definitely got to drive it like a naturally aspirated car. A little better. I don't like the gearing here, but you just gotta deal with it. Go to down to 4. That's a nice improvement. That's a nice improvement. Ugh. You really gotta drive this car if you want to get something out of it, because the power, it's got so much power that it's just always struggling to get grip. Which in the longer runs, that concerns me a little bit, but you know, again, something you just have to deal with and know what you just got to know what that is, and change your driving accustomed to that, and the setup. So that's something you learn. So again, that's things that if I choose the Mustang to race this next season, I mean, when I'm doing a setup, I got to really do, some extra running, like some longer stints and things like that, to see what it's going to do, because I don't want the car to completely just fall on its face. We got tires are close. Again, just dialing stuff in roughly. You can see a negative camber is maxed out on the front, and that's good. Here you see I took some of the negative camber out, and I think it did calm the rear end down a little bit. I think I could go a little more, actually. I'd probably go that. And again, that's trying to calm the rear end down, get more tire on the road. Because again, you can always get the car to rotate with throttle. But you get, to be really smooth with that is what takes the practice. Of course, I was a lot faster when I went down to 4, but how long can you do that for? And, really to make that something consistent, I think the car needs a little bit more tuning. Either you need to go up in a sway bar, or I'd probably say go down another click on the rear to make the car not get so crazy coming off the corners. Other than that, I think it's really good. I'm really happy with the very first time here. with the Mustang, and of course I haven't even been at this track in I can't even tell you how long. So it's been a long time, and you know we're already running in the 44s. That's not bad. That's not terrible for me. That's right there. So you know if I can pick up some more, I think you know it would be better. What do I think of the Mustang? Hey, how you doing? What do I think of the Mustang? I think it's a really, really good car. I mean, it's a really good car. I know that's subjective. To me, the sound is okay. Not saying I wouldn't maybe like to hear some improvements with that, but it's okay. I think it looks awesome. I think the car looks epic. And as far as handling, the car is great in speed. It's it's always near the fastest as far as on the straightaways. So if that's something that you like, then that's definitely a huge plus. But again, the car, that's for me personally, I just care about lap times. I really don't care about speed down the straightaway. So that's just a byproduct, and that's just topping on the cake, so so to speak. But the car, it struggles a little bit changing directions, but you can try to help it a little bit with the setup. A lot of you can get some oversteer with the throttle, so you got to be really good with throttle. If you can really be good with the throttle, you can really, really do good with this car. So if you have struggle with throttle control, you might struggle with it because it's either going to be understeering or the car's going to be oversteering, because the car wants to understeer more than not. But you have to really use the throttle to help the car rotate. So if you're not good at doing that, then you might struggle with it. It's just not going to rotate on its own in a lot of places. But if you just smash it, then the car's going to over rotate and you're going to be oversteery. So again, you got to have some really good. That's probably one of the most important things with this car is having good throttle control. Other than that, it's really great on the brakes. Braking is awesome. It's got to be braking wise. It's got to be in the top 3 cars. It has to be, because this thing really, you can brake late. I mean, if you're side by side and got the inside line with this car, you got it, because there's no way somebody's going to outbrake you to be able to go around the outside. There's no way. Again, it's good in a lot of places. I really, tire wear again. Longer stints. I'd like to see what we can do with longer stints, but right now, as far as being fast, it's quick. And really, it's quick everywhere I've been to. It's been running some decent times everywhere I've been to. Whether it's a short track, a long track, it doesn't really make a difference. The biggest thing, too, is really getting to use the gears. So it takes practice because it's different than other cars. A lot of cars are the same that use this gear to go through this turn. They're all the same. This is different. You got to use maybe a gear lower in this car most of the time compared to others, because it just doesn't. It's laggy in first gear, and then of course that makes the car want to be oversteery. But to be fast, you got to be able to, again, throttle control and maximize the gearing, because really you got a 5-speed plus. It's got 6 gears, but you hardly ever use 6 gear. You're probably only going to use 6 gear like I don't know, 5% of the time, if that. I mean, at the absolute very fastest places, and only for a little while. So it's just, you're not going to use 6 gear that often. So you're going to mainly use 5. So, and where a lot of cars, let's say the Nissan, it uses 6 gears. It's got lower gears, so it uses 6 gears almost everywhere. So, I mean, this car is like running with a 5-speed. So again, a little bit different way of doing it. So again, the practice will definitely benefit. Let's take a look at this last lap. Again, great speed down the straightaway. $157. I mean, that's pretty good for Hungaroring, if I remember right. It is not bad at all. Now, another negative, I think it does chew a little more fuel than some of the other cars. So again, that's one of those things. So mileage is not his forte. It looked a lot better through there than it was the last time. I was steering the crap out of it. So it had a lot better control through there than the before. Hit that a little hard. Like here, you know, taking that in first. I don't think any other car I've taken in first. I usually take it that corner back there in second. Yeah, so you got super sideways there. Just again, because I'm on TC4. Just that, you know, and that's not like it's super low to me, but I just TC5 seems like the what you can really, I'm not going to say maximize, but it's the most drivability you can get with TC5. But TC4, you can see you definitely can get some performance advantage if you can get the car to hook up. So that's what you got to go after, something like that. Again, I don't know if you can do that for a whole stint. You might have to only be able to do that for, you know, while the tires are fresh or something. I don't know. But most likely, probably. But really happy with the Mustang. Again, we got a 44.8, which is, you know, it's not great, nothing great, but it's good for the first time with the car here. And I definitely can go faster than that for sure. So not disappointed at all, to be honest. So let's go out of that. So the next car that I want now, I've tried this Mustang at Coda, Indianapolis, and Hungaroring. All three of those places, and the times were very respectable at all three of them, and they're only going to get better. So real happy with that. Of course, there's my livery that I have for tomorrow. That's at Mount Panorama. I hope you'll join me for the 2-hour. Got a 2-hour race tomorrow. At probably be going streaming starting around 1:30 or so, 1:45. Races I think starts at 2, qualifying, and but yeah, I mean, thank you, Nikos. He just finished this up this week, doing some adjustments to it and changing it. But I really like it. Put the horsey on the top. Born and bred in the USA. So I really like it. But let's shift gears and let's go to a car that's really the opposite. Let's go to the Ferrari, which is very stable. It's a V6 turbocharged, not naturally aspirated. So let's switch to that and see what any differences and see what we like about that. Again, if you please leave your suggestions below. I'd really appreciate it. What you would like to see me race coming up. The new season starts this next week. So I got to put something in today. So I make sure I get the right car in. So let's go back to Coda. Good question. Very good question. I'm more leaning towards these two cars. That's why I'm doing this car next. I think, you know, the Mustang and Ferrari are pretty neck and neck. And then after that, it's the Aston Martin and probably the Porsche, like I said in the beginning. I really like the Aston Martin. You know, I really, really am a fan of the Aston Martin. I wish they'd get the Evo, but I really like that car. But, you know, I got to realize that I can't give away a ton of time. I got too many fast guys, and I'm trying to compete at the front. And, you know, you're competing with John, you know, and Brian and whoever else is in there, Chris Bourne or Brad or whoever. You got so many people that are fast, and you can't give away, a half a second. It's just there's no way that I can do that. So it's got to be close. It doesn't have to be the absolute fastest because you might be a little faster at other tracks, but it's got to be. And I still want to have fun driving it. And this Ferrari is really a good car. I've been running a lot of personal bests with it. So again, a high 205 is my personal best here at COTA, so this is not far off. So let's go to this, and again, we'll just do a few laps and just see what same conditions. Take TC2 out. Now again, you see this car, the springs are a lot less on the rear than the front. Okay. And again, I'm not looking at the graph, I'm looking at the number. So again, you're doing that because this car doesn't need that. It doesn't need that so much weight put on the front of the car because it has natural rotation. But on the flip side, then it bump stop rate's really high on the rear of the car compared to the front. So there's a lot of different things with the Ferrari that, again, is unique to that. And of course, you don't run a ton of brake bias usually on the Ferrari either, compared to other cars, especially front engine or the Porsche or things like that. So again, another, definitely unique. Again, you don't run a ride height either. I mean, you can see this car, you have the ride height's pretty much the same. So again, not really much. I might go down one in the front, but I mean, it's really pretty equal. So again, a maxed out wing, which again, I'm not saying that would be what I would stick with, but it's just something to go. Most of the time you're going to go with that because with this track, you're not looking at speed. You're looking at going through these corners that are changing directions. You don't need the car to swap ends on you and wreck. So again, let's just take a few laps in this. Again, I think it would. I wonder how it would do better as far as on a slicker track than some of the other cars. Now this car is totally, obviously is. You're looking at totally different driving ways of driving it. With this, you can run a gear higher in corners than you can the Mustang. So a lot different. Again, and that's why it's really important to practice with whatever car you're with because you pick up things that really can help. The turn in on this thing is insane. This Ferrari has so much turn in, you don't really need to help it with turn in. Or like the Mustang, you're running a bunch of ride height and this and that. You don't have to do that with this car. It's got turn in, galore. Still good over bumps. See, I can go through here in second easily compared to the Mustang in first. And then the power is so much more transitional. It's not like, a light switch. But see, to me, it doesn't brake as good as the Mustang either. So you got to kind of back up a teeny bit. All 6 gears. Much more manageable as far as on the throttle. Don't need to rev this thing out. You need to shift this thing up to the next gear because it's got torque like crazy. Again, a lot different than the Mustang where you got to rev the thing all the way out. This thing you don't have to worry about that. Car just goes. I call the Mustang is like pretty much a hatchet, where this is a scalpel. I mean, you could be so precise with this car and put it right where you want to put it. The Mustang, you're just trying to hang on for dear life. I mean, I see why a lot of people like this car, and there's a lot of people that drive this car. It's very popular because it's so drivable. Bad. Tire pressures look good. Again, I know this car is good on longer stints, so that's not really an issue. Pretty good spread there. Pretty good spread there. I mean, it could go a little bit less. You could maybe try that to go a little bit less. Any questions about the setups that you're dealing with or anything that you're trying to accomplish? Again, I'm trying to help, what to adjust. It's hard to change something if you're not sure what to adjust to get the car to feel a certain way. Again, the negative toe helps turn in. Again, negative camber is good, but you don't, in certain places, certain cars, certain times, you don't want it maxed out. It helps the car to change directions. The less you have, it's going to change directions quicker. So if you have a lot of lefts and rights and chicanes and things like that, if you don't need to run max negative camber, then don't, because it's going to help you change directions quicker. Same thing with the rear, negative camber on the rear. I mean, it's, again, if you want it to help the rear rotate, then yes, you can maybe run a little bit more negative camber, but also it might hurt some of the tire wear, and it also might hurt some of the braking. So again, if you don't need to run max negative camber, then don't. It's more tire on the road. And as far as drivability, it gives you better. You're not losing performance, and you got to look at it as not a lap. You really have to look at it as over a stint, over 25 minutes, over 30 minutes, over 45 minutes, whatever. You have to look at it that way. And you can't look at it as, well, I could run faster for that one lap, but do you run faster for 25 minutes? I mean, that's really what you're looking at, because that's how you win races. So again, being controllable and being able to handle the car and the tires, holding on as long as they can at the end. So again, I only got TC4. I know some guys run a little higher than that, but again, it was fine for me. Again, it depends on your throttle control. You could probably go up higher than that. Again, this needs to go down to 95. As far as tire wear, not bad. Not bad. Usually a mid-engine car usually has a little bit more on the rear. Again, a little bit bigger bump stop ranges, and that's to slow the reaction of the car down, because this car reacts so fast. It turns in so quickly, and every input, it reacts very fast. So instead of like the Mustang or other cars, you're trying to help that out. This, I'm trying to slow it down maybe a little bit. So again, that's a happy medium. Everything really looks pretty good here. Again, shocks, they're close. Aero, again, it's, you want the car to turn in really good here. That's why I think this car would do really good at COTA, just for the fact that it has such great turn in, and that's what you need here with those really slow turns. That you have the big sausage right there on the corners, where you have 1, 2, like 3 corners are that way? 4? Yeah, 4 corners are that way. So you really got to be, the closer you can get to that, to hit real close to that sausage and carry mid-corner speed through there and hit it the way you want to, you're going to have a lot better lap time. So again, and as far as, only comes up 1 in the back as far as the fuel load. So that's nothing. So again, you might, with this setup, you might could do better with a little bit less wing. I don't know. That's something that, again, this is just to rough it in. So again, I'm really happy with that. I think, this easily could have a personal best with this car here easily. I mean, I ran a 206.3, and I could easily see a 205 here with not even a problem. So again, really like the Ferrari. It's really fast. I enjoy driving it. It's a +2. So let's leave there and go to the next track. You see, I ran a 206.1, so it's definitely, and you're only talking a few tenths, like 3 tenths or so away from my personal best. And the setup's, probably 60-70% there. So it's, you definitely could get in the 205s for sure. So let's go to Indianapolis. You see that I have no time here at Indy with this car. You see my best is a low 36. I think I ran a 36, mid 36 with the Mustang. We'll see what the speed is. The speed was 167 miles an hour down the straightaway. We'll see what the Ferrari is. I'm sure it will be less. I would bet the paycheck it will be less. I think the Mustang's got to beat in straight line speed for sure. But, you know, again, not that I don't consider that, but it's not my only consideration. You can see I don't even have a setup here. So let's see what we can figure something out. Sorry, I had to get a drink. So we'll leave this here like this. I'm going to increase this up. We'll do a few laps just to check our pressures. Let's see, I'll go with that. Again, just taking the guess here. We'll make some big adjustments when I come back in. Leave that there. Now, that was there on the last one. It was 188. This is 182. I like that. That's a lot better. And this is actually 143, so that's actually better because it was 150, so that's one click down. So that's a good starting point. Let's see. I'll leave this the way it is. I'm gonna take these out. Leave these just the way they are. And again, this is a slick track, so we'll max that out. And I'm going to lower that. So pretty much change the brakes. That there. So we can try this, see what we have. Again, this is just to see where we're at. Again, the tires, I have no clue. Again, with the maps, you know, you got 1. I know 3's got a little bit better throttle control, I think, but we'll just try 1 for right now and see what we got. I don't think I've had, I mean, like I said, I haven't had the car here, and I'm not sure about Hungaroring. I don't think I've had it there at all either. I don't think. We'll see. I mean, again, I would recommend the Ferrari probably a lot more than the Mustang, because this car, as far as drivability, has got it in spades. But, you know, if you like the Mustang better, that's, you know, hey, that's all. Hey, it's just that I think this car's easier to get the performance out of compared to the Mustang. Again, the Mustang, I think the Mustang's going to take a lot of throttle control. A lot of work on the setup. I think this car here is a lot easier to get to go fast. I can't believe the difference between those two cars. What a difference. And this is why I love ACC so much, is the difference between cars is so dramatic. It's not even close. You definitely can see where each car has a strong point at certain tracks or certain parts of the track, because they react totally different. I mean, look at this. It's so easy to get around here compared to the Mustang. But maybe the Mustang, you know, is a challenge for you. I mean, that's so again, it's all what you're wanting to get out of it, and or you just like a Mustang. That's, like I said, that's okay. Because this car is probably going to be easier to go fast. One more lap. Adjust tire pressures. Not bad, especially for first time. These can come up just a teeny bit. This is a big difference here. Again, it's left side to right side. Mega difference. Okay. Take a look at the tires. Not bad on the rears. I think the rears are pretty close. Fronts, like you could probably go maybe you could go max negative camber, but again, to try to get the car to still react, give it a little bit more negative toe. Still good. kind of like it feels like it's got good grip. So really, I think, you know, you could try some different things with this, but I think right now it's pretty decent. Check Motec really quick. Just since I've never done it on here before. Yeah, that's way too high. These need to come way down. Let's see. Yeah, they need to come up. So yeah, see, again, kind of like before. Yeah, they need to come way down. So that's why I still check it, and that's why I just don't do the same thing for every track, because they're different. So let's try that. That should be a lot closer. Let's see. So made some big adjustments. You know, if this was the car that I chose, what would I do to try to find more speed? I mean, I would probably try to change the spring rates and see if I could find some more speed somewhere. In the feel of the car and drivability of the car, where I could push it harder. I'll probably try to find that. Probably take maybe one of that out. Maybe take a little, try. I probably wouldn't go more than, maybe taking a couple clicks out of the wing just to see if I can get any more speed out of it down the straightaway, and if the car still felt good in the corners, and adjust it accordingly. But other than that, that's really about it. It's really not that far off. Again, the Ferrari's a pretty good car to set up. I want to see what it's doing down the straightaway compared to the Mustang. Yeah, about 3 mile an hour difference. It's doing 164 and the Mustang was doing 167. So yeah, see, and again, that's the advantage of the Mustang over the Ferrari, but the Ferrari is just, so much better through all these slick, especially these slick areas. So I figured it'd be a difference in speed, but I don't, like I said, that doesn't really concern me. I'm more worried about what the lap time is and what the pace of the car is. Again, that's one thing I have to. I got the car the Mustang performing really good at Mount Panorama, but I just, I need to work on it to make sure it holds its pace through the stint. So I might have to make some small adjustments. So that's something I got to work on that tomorrow before the race. Picking up. Too deep. Too deep. I could have got a lot better time, too. Yeah, this car just makes you want to push. Ugh, this thing is quick. Make a couple of tire adjustments. Let's do a few laps. Push, push, let's go. Dang, lost it all right there. little bit of an improvement. One more lap. Dang, just barely hit the grass. Yeah, I knew that was gonna be. I was just cutting it through. I think it's got a little bit too much at 3. A little bit too much oversteer. I think that's about matched my personal best. I know I can go faster than that by far. So yeah, I'm gonna do my personal best and starting with a blank sheet of paper with the setup part. So that's just how good the Ferrari is. Yeah, it's a little better as far as the spread there. That still looks fine. Yeah, I probably could. Yeah. Might go more on the left. They don't need it on the right because that's why the difference in the pressures. I mean, 24.8 left front and 26.2 right front. I mean, it's so I think we need more negative camber on this side, but this right side it doesn't really need it. So I might even go more. I might even go, max it out at negative 3.5. So that alone would probably give it a little bit more pace. Again, there's other things to check, other things that you can try. But this is, again, just roughing it in, and I'm getting near my personal best. So check Motec one more time. Okay, needs a little bit more. Same down here. And this needs to go away. Okay. Again, you're changing back and forth because a lot of it depends on your pace. You know, how hard you're pushing the car, and it's going to change these settings. So I tried 3 down to the TC3, but it was just a little bit too much. The car was just wanting to oversteer a little bit too much. But TC2 taking that out was fine. But other than that, that's really good. Watch out, just this one lap. Let's see what the speed is again. 164. So again, you're 3 miles an hour down on the Mustang. Dude, the Porsche would probably be like 5 or 6. I mean, it's poor thing. It's just, it's probably close to the Ferrari, but it's probably a mile an hour or so short. So it's probably, like I said, it's probably 4 or 5. Yeah, and I don't think it's as good on the brakes as the Mustang was. Mustang had a little bit better braking than the Ferrari, but see if it does the same speed. I'm sure it does. Yeah, still 164. So again, really happy with it because it pretty much almost ran my personal best. And I know that I can pick up more than that. I mean, it wasn't a perfect lap by a long ways. So I know there's more time in it. Maybe even a possible 35 for sure qualifying. But I mean, you know, I could easily get into 35s. It's not out of the question even on race pace. So especially with this car. So that's a very good positive for this. Like I said, my fastest time was a low 36. So see, I was a little short. It was 136.12, and I just did a 136.17. So again, about 500ths off my personal best, or equaling my personal best. But that's old. That's from, I mean, that's from years ago. So that's, to run near that now, I think is pretty good. So not bad. So again, and especially with a brand new setup, I mean, it's the first time I've been, you know, I was with a clean slate. So let's go to Hungaroring. Now, I've run a 44.7 there before, so I've been here. But it's been a long time. Let's see what the setup looks like. Oh, it's old. Yeah, was a 1.9.0, but it was over a year ago. So let's take a look. I'll go up a couple. This all looks pretty good. Big difference here. A lot of spring, so let's definitely take that back out. I'll go with the spring that I had in the other one. Because that's, again, like I did with the Mustang. All right. Again, what would you all like to see me run this next season, which is start next week? So I gotta make my decision this afternoon or this evening. I gotta enter, see what I want to put in there. Good brakes. Not bad. Happy with that. Not a bad time for me. We're not running here in over a year with this car. See what tires look like. Not bad. Yeah, not bad. Good starting point. I won't mess with those. Maybe could use a little bit more sway bar. Stiffen it up a little, just a little bit. Really, that's about it. I need to check the shocks. That's what I need to do. Need to check Motec. Go. Looks pretty good. It's pretty close. Needs to go back. There. It was close. It wasn't that far off, really. A little bit here and there. What was a tire wear? Yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah, it's not bad at all. So you probably could get away a little bit more brake bias. They already went faster by a couple tenths than what my old best was here with the Ferrari. So, I mean, that's always good. Let's see what the speed is down here. I think the Mustang was 157. Yeah, it's about 2 or 3 down. It was like 154 to almost hit 155. So that's, again, 2 to 3 miles an hour down on the Mustang. Which isn't, you know, it's not crazy surprising. I mean, I know the Mustang is really, really good on the straight line. So, I think the Ferrari by far is more balanced, no doubt. Look how good it is through there. And it's just solid. Very good over there. Let's just do a couple laps, see if it... I didn't make any major changes, but... Shocks, I did some changes. A lot different gearing than the Mustang here for sure. I think that's going to be about everywhere. Again, I think the Mustang's going to be unique when it comes to that part. Not bad, first lap. Bad. More lap. good lap for me. Faster than my personal best as far as with the Ferrari by like a half a second. I know there's more in it. I mean, really happy with that. I mean, things that I can try. Let's look at the tires. Yeah, that's perfect. Good wear across. And see, that helped a little bit on this side. This side's fine. It's still got more than enough gap between them. This is good. Actually, it could go a little more. Yeah. I think I'll go like that. So that'll help a little bit. That would probably give me another 1/10 of a second right there. Maybe a little less, but pretty close to it. Just get the rear to follow along just a little bit better. Oh, what was the... oh, that's really good. So yeah, I could go down a little bit more on the brake bias. I mean, you could, again, same thing. I would probably try some different spring packages. Maybe a little bit more bump stop rate in the rear. Maybe a little bit bigger range on both front and rear to see if it can go over those bumps a little bit better and over the curbs. That's something that I would try to see if, to dial this, to dial it in just to pick up that little bit here and there. There's a couple key areas that if you can get on the gas real early and that the curbs doesn't upset you, you're going to pick up time. So there's definitely a good couple tenths in it. So yeah, I could see it running a low 44, high 43. So again, really, really good as far as just stability. Let's watch that last lap. I'll show you, a couple key areas. I mean, obviously, in the beginning of the lap, just turn 1, you want to brake late and come in really a late apex so you can get a good drive and get the car rotated so you can get on the gas going through here. It's kind of a tricky turn. It's kind of a long turn, and then you got to set up right for an immediate right. And again, just don't want to go out of bounds right there. But coming up here, you really want to be able to get on the gas early and go over that curb right here, right there. You want to be able to get on the gas right away and go in here really deep and be able to carry a lot of speed through here. So again, I'd like to be able to do better through there. And again, right through here, coming up, you want to be able to go through here as quick as possible because you can really get you can gain a car, 1 or 2 car lengths really quick, which is hard to make up. So you really want to be able to get through here as clean and as fast as possible. Again, you're on these curbs, and you got to make sure that they're not messing you up. So the next one is this curb coming up right here. This one right here. If you can get on this, between this curb and the other one on the inside, if you can get on this and be able to get on this other curb and be able to get on the gas right away as soon as you can, you're going to carry a lot more speed through here, especially if you're not going to run out and go out of bounds. There's a lot of time to be gained through here. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this section right here. I'm just doing okay. I could definitely do better. As you can see, it took me a while to get back on the gas, and I'm still kind of going in and out. So, because I don't want to go out of bounds. So you need to be able to attack that a little bit harder, and I could gain some time there. Here, it's about as good as I can do. I'm getting right on the gas again early. and then going out to this curbing and then coming back and then holding it in close and trying to carry the speed, and then hold this in close to the curb and let it run wide. Oh, what was that speed? I didn't look at it again. Let's see what the speed is again. I didn't pay attention to it. 154. So 154 again is 3 miles an hour down on what the Mustang was. But, you know, again, I was 2 to 2.5 tenths faster, or I was like a half a second faster. Yeah, I was a half a second faster over a lap. So again, you know, speed down the straightaway is not everything. I look at, you know, lap time. So again, really happy with that. Again, please leave your comments below. I mean, what you think, what you would like to see. I hope you'll join me again this next season. And again, I hope you join me tomorrow for the endurance race at Mount Panorama here in East Seniors. Again, a lot of them are teams. I'm just running by myself, but you got Chris Moses is back, and he's in it in the Mustang as I am in the Mustang. So, I mean, hopefully we have some good battles. And you got some other guys in there, you know, Chris Bourne and some other people. So you got a lot of good guys in there that hopefully we can have a really good race. Something a little different with the 2 hours at Mount Panorama. You never know what's going to happen at that place. And again, I hope you come join me for that. That's normal time. I think at 2 o'clock is when qualifying starts. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you give me a like and subscribe. And again, I appreciate everybody stopping in. And again, as far as the cars, let me know what you think. But I didn't get a chance to run the Aston Martin. I was going to try the Aston Martin. Again, thanks to Nico's for doing the livery. You know, the car looks amazing. I love this car so much. I really, really like the sound. I really like the way it looks. I like the way it handles. But, I mean, as far as performance, you know, I do okay with it. I mean, it's fine. I enjoy driving the car. But, you know, when you're competing against other people, I can't give away a lot of time. So, again, you know, I'm kind of pulled to this car, but I gotta also think about the end game. Of course, I love the Porsche, but you know, I've run that so many times. I know that probably people get tired of seeing the Porsche, just like the AMG. I love the AMG, but again, I'm sure people get tired of that too. But let's. I was gonna stop, but let's just go take this just to Hungaroring. Let's just run this thing at there. You can see my fast times of 45.6. So you see how far that is off. I mean, that's like a second and a half compared to what I just did. Almost a second and a half compared to what I just did in the Ferrari. That is massive. So, yeah, exactly, John. I mean, I love this car, but it's just, you know, again, all my setups here are so old. That's the newest one here. Let's take a look at this. Again, this car is totally different than other cars. I mean, let's see what this. Leave that alone. See. And I don't know how old this setup is, but I'm just trying to update it a little bit. We can check it afterwards. See how much ride height you got to put to this thing to get it to rotate. I'm just taking a guess here. Let's just do that. Okay, it's close. It's in the ballpark. At least see what we can come up with. I love this car too. It's just a real bummer that I can't. I had to switch my wheelbase, you know, as far as the settings on it. So go to my Aston Martin setting. I hope they come out with the Evo. I'm gonna be disappointed if they don't. Again, totally different, unique car. I mean, completely different than the Mustang and the. Although I'd say it's closer to the Mustang for sure because of the front engine, but still a lot different. Missed that one. 47. Oh my gosh. Tires are way off. There. By the tires. It's kind of tight on a tight side. I mean, you probably could go max there like that. As far as the rears, they're not bad. That looks pretty decent. Yeah, that's pretty decent. All that looks good. Don't like that. Don't like this. That's got to come down. Again, that's pushing too much weight on the front. You can just feel the rear end sliding. So we're putting, you know, like the Mustang needs it. This doesn't. It doesn't need it as much as the Mustang. So you're needing to flip it the other way. Matter of fact, I'll probably go down on this. So again, so it's not trying to push the car and rotate it. Go over the bumps a little bit better. The curbs, handle the curbs a little better. Let's see what Motec says. Interesting to see what this says. Oh, yes. That's, put it back where it was. There we go. Not as much. Okay. Not like crazy off, but you know, it's a little bit. So let's see what the speed is on this one. Oh, 155. So again, it hit 155. So a mile an hour faster. Mile an hour faster than the Ferrari, but 2 miles an hour slower than the Mustang. So let's do a couple more laps after these adjustments and see if it... Exactly. If we were running LFMBOP, it'd be a lot different. If we were running LFMBOP, I would probably be using this. I mean, because I just like this car. But since we're not using LFMBOP, I mean, we're using the standard. It's just... And I'll be honest, I mean, I'm okay in it, but it's not like I love the car, but I'm just not the fastest in it. I really like it though, but so I mean, I'm sure I could improve a lot with a lot of practice. I could improve my pace, but you can't make up for that much. I mean, it's not like I can't make up if I'm a second down on pace. It's ridiculous. Hey, John, you should have been in the endurance tomorrow. Why aren't you in that? You could have teamed up with somebody. I'm sure somebody would have teamed up with you. Matter of fact, that one guy's looking for a teammate. That guy in the Ferrari. You know, you like the Ferrari. Really disappointed that my it's this slow in this car. It's just, that's terrible. Good night. Go down to TC1. Gotta do better with these bumps. Oh wow, just locked up. Dang, gone. I don't think that worked. Mid 45. That's over a second slower. I mean, that's just, oh my gosh. I saw you had the Nissan, John. Gonna go back with the Nissan. I wish they would help this car like they did the Nissan. Good night. Of course, I understand it if they had the Evo coming out, because I understand you know, they don't have a Nissan Evo, so I understand the Evo being the faster car than the prior version, but they don't have the Evo out yet, so kind of wish they would have done that, like, you know, this car is basically just not even competitive. It's not, you can't, there's no way you can compete with this. So there's really not a lot you can, you know, a lot you can do. This needs to go to 2. Is locking up the tires. So not a lot you can do with that. Yeah, that looks better. That looks good. I mean, everything looks decent, but it's just not. Just not performing. Things taking bumps, awful. So yeah, just something that definitely needs a lot of work, even to get a marginal gain. I mean, if I could get it in the lower 45s, it'd probably be doing good. I mean, it's, again, you just can't give up that much time. I love that livery too. Nikos did a great job with the livery. It looks so good. Yep, 155. I mean, speed's is not that bad. I mean, it's not as fast as the Mustang, but I mean, man, the thing handles awful. it's like, why did it go over these? It used to go over bumps good. I don't know why it's going over these bumps so harsh. Not like I got stiff springs. Maybe they're too soft. Maybe that's the problem. Sometimes it's that way. It's a trial and error. Sometimes you're running the bump stop so hard because the springs are so soft. So you might need to, that's something you'd have to try. You'd have to try something stiffer. Maybe, something stiffer might even work better. I've had that happen before. So, it's, you think, oh, it's got to be a softer spring. But not all the time. But, I try and get softer spring to get grip, but it really didn't feel grippy-wise. It wasn't that bad. It just wasn't fast. Yeah, I don't know what car to pick either. That's why I was been doing this for trying to figure out what I want to do. So, and again, I always keep coming back to this car here, but I just can't. I can't pick it because there's no way. I would be mid-pack. Or, be struggling to be staying above silver or something. I mean, you can't give away a second. I mean, that's insane. There's no way. Oh, I mean, I don't know why they have this car so out compared to other cars. Now, see, this is where the first track I've seen where this car is really out. I'm not saying I can go faster, but compared to other cars, it's really out. Where, like Coda and some of the other tracks, it's not as bad. I mean, you're giving up time, but it's not as bad. And, I mean, you see I ran, a 10th faster? I mean, but, I mean, if you go to Coda, see, I ran a 2:06.8, so that's about a half a second. I mean, that's a solid half a second slower than I was running with the Mustang and the Ferrari. Close to a half a second. I mean, that's closer, but still, I mean, that's still a good amount of time. And then Indianapolis, again, it was about a half a second. I mean, a little more than that. I mean, the Ferrari I was running, the Mustang was about 0.2 faster than this. That's not that bad. 0.2 is understandable, but it was about over half a second slower than the Ferrari. So, and I just did this time like this last week. So again, let alone any of the other cars where, like, let's say if you compare that to the Porsche, again, that's 36.4. So again, that's with a roughed in setup, that's 0.4 faster than that car, than the Aston Martin, and 0.3 slower than the Ferrari. And at Coda, that's my fastest car. I mean, that's my personal best, high 205. So it's way slow. It's a second slower than the Porsche there. So again, that's a good amount of time. And Hungaroring, I don't know if I've run this car at Hungaroring. Have I? Yeah, 144.5, but that's probably old. But I mean, still, it's still giving away a second. So again, you just can't, you can see the Porsche. I mean, it's a little there, this or that, but daggum, I mean, you're still in the ballpark, and at some tracks, it's got my personal best. But you look at the Aston Martin, it's not even in the same area code, I mean, and it's a shame because I do love the car. That's the bad thing. It's a shame because I really like the car. I really love the looks of it. I really like the sound of it. But ACC with this standard BOP, it's just uncompetitive. but that's the way it is. You know, when you go into LFM and stuff like that, if you go into LFM and run it at Nürburgring or do it in other places, you can see the car's a lot more competitive. But with the regular BOP, it's just not. I sure, like I said, I mean, I sure wish they'd come out with the Evo because I love that car too. I mean, obviously it's just an improved version, and I think I love that car too. But again, I hope you give me a like and subscribe. I know I ran it again a little bit more, but I just really wanted to see the difference between more of the top cars, whether it's the Mustang or Ferrari or Porsche or, you know, the Lamborghini. But I mean, I know the times I'm going to run in those compared to what the Aston Martin is. So again, you know, leave your comments below. I'd appreciate it. I need all the help I can get. And of course, I hope you join me tomorrow for with the endurance race. And I hope, John, I hope you picked the right car too. But I know Brian Murray, he's going with the Mustang, so it's going to be a popular car for him. But Brad Marys, he's going with the McLaren. At least that's what he's got so far. Of course, that could change. Yeah, I know. I wish we were because it makes it difficult. I still say with the LFM BOP, it makes all the cars more competitive. So where the standard BOP, you do have some of these, you know, red-headed stepchilds, so to speak, that don't, you know, that aren't even in the same area code, and you just can't, you know, I don't understand why they can have the Nissan be near the top of the field again, because I think the Nissan's it's very fast now, and very capable pretty much everywhere it goes, but you have the Aston Martin, which is the same year, and it's way behind. I don't really understand that. So that I don't get. And heck, Aston Martin's still racing in GT3. You know, they got the Evo that just came out. So Nissan really is very limited. They're only running in the Asia series that I've seen so far. And I was surprised to see the GTR over there, but they're not even running it in any of the other major stuff. So I don't know why Aston Martin is just kind of left out, but something I just don't understand. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Any questions, again, feel free to ask. Trying to show you stuff on setups. And again, every car is different. There's things that go from one car to the other as far as the physics part. It'll work from one car to the other, but again, every car is different as far as what they like and what they don't like. So again, I appreciate you stopping in, and I hope you come and join me tomorrow. Y'all take care. See ya.